Hello, hello. Are these things missing from your fertility journey? Let's do a checklist, a recap. Let's make sure you have a few of these things happening for you right now. Let's dive right in. You need to have certain things in place in order to be completely successful at recovery. And I know this to be true because if you didn't need to have these things in check, you probably wouldn't be watching this video because you probably would have already gotten your period back, gotten pregnant. The things would have just like boom, 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 done it for you. Unless this is your first day hearing about HA and this is the first video you've ever clicked, which if that's the case, what a coincidence. But other than that, like there's obviously some things missing. So let's dive right on in to the very first one, which is community support. So I want to really solid amount of time not saying anything about my recovery or my problem. And basically what happened was that I wasn't taking any actions for recovery. I was learning about it, I was reading about it, I was listening to podcasts about it, but I wasn't taking any action because I was worried about, what people would think if I stopped dieting, if I gained weight, like all of these fear things. So to do this on my own was too much. Just nothing was going to happen. So I really recommend you tell some of the people in your personal life what is going on and get yourself a dedicated recovery community. There are some out there. We have one. I think we have the best one. It's called the HA Society. It's pretty small. We only have about 100 members at any given time. Sometimes people come and go, but we have some really amazing OGs, and we do multiple community calls a week where we get on Zoom and we group coach, we chat, we work through challenges. And if you look on our website, like at the testimonials and everything, you will see people say, like, I could not have done this without this community. And I'm not just saying that to like plug our community. I'm just saying like I'm not making this up. People can completely agree that the second that you get in and amongst and around people who have a shared goal with you, if they can do it, you can do it. And I need to do it so that I don't let the other girls down, and like we've got this, and I feel not alone in this, and like all of that is really, really important. So step one, having a community, I cannot recommend enough. A community in your personal life and probably an online community or something like that of people who actually get it and understand what you're going through, because otherwise you feel like you're the only person dealing with this, and so it's harder for you to make change. But when you see that like there is a bunch of us out here, it's way easier for you to get it together and make change. The second one for you is now going to be having a dedicated professional to help you other than a medical doctor. Now, most of the time, some topic like this, you're like, make sure everything you're doing is like under the guidance of medical doctor. Absolutely, 100% do what you want to do. But also have another dedicated professional who has a more holistic approach. So again, not to like plug our program and like our coaching, but when you have someone who has seen this before, who knows what they're looking at, who can tell you like, hey, I know you feel this way, but here are the facts, and you're trying to recover naturally, a medical doctor's not going to do that for you. That's not what they do. They have a different job. That's a different job. You can't go to a librarian and ask them to help you with your taxes. A medical doctor is a different job. So you can't go to your doctor and expect them to help you with natural recovery. That's not what they do, right? They don't know about it. They don't know how to do it. They're just going to give you the pill, progesterone, yada, yada. Doctors know about it, and what they're going to do is exactly what a doctor did for me and tell you to go have a break and figure out natural recovery. But they're not going to tell you how to do it. So finding an HA recovery professional, whether it be us or different coach, someone who has done our practitioner certification, I don't know. But having someone on your team who can tell you the facts, bring you down from when you're letting your emotions take over and stop you from taking action, like that's crucial. And also they know when you're eating enough. Like they know what enough food looks like. We know what not enough food looks like. We know what it looks like when you're way too underweight. We know what it looks like when you're avoiding recovery things you need to do. Like you just need that person to call you out. And I think one of the mistakes people make is saying, oh, if I haven't recovered by XYZ time, then I will, reach out for help. And I understand that. And I guess it's not really a mistake, but it just can bite people a little bit in the butt when they know they're ready now and they wait a long time. By the time you work with a professional, you're like really fed up. And you wasted a whole bunch of time. And this just like, it just adds additional difficulty that like, I know that you would rather have worked through sooner rather than later. So that's something to consider. The third one is understanding crucial information about the cycle. If you are approaching recovery from a place of like, well, I just know I need to bleed, you need to do more learning about how the menstrual cycle works. You need to understand the menstruation phase, the follicular phase, the ovulation phase, and the luteal phase, what's expected of all of those phases, what hormones are doing what in those phases. The reason you need to understand that is so that once you get your first period, you know whether or not you're on track for a healthy one going forward. Especially if you're trying to get pregnant, you're gonna need that information. When women don't have this information, they go back to the doctor and the doctor puts them on the pill. They go to the doctor and say, I'm not getting pregnant, and the doctor points them in the direction of fertility treatment. When all you potentially needed to do was understand, my follicular phase is too long, my luteal phase is too short, I'm not ovulating. And when you know what those are doing, and then you know how to identify what's happening in your cycle in each of those phases, you can start to pinpoint where the problem is with your fertility. So it's really important that you're spending time learning that and understanding that. And then for the sake of recovery, when you understand that, you have a better idea and more patience for the process, right? You need to understand what your body is trying to do so that you can have patience and understanding for maybe why you're not eating enough food, for why your body requires more food of you, for why it takes 90 days to fully develop a follicle. We use that fact all the time in coaching because we have to remind people, well, if you've never been seeing cervical mucus and now you've been seeing it for 3 days and you're wondering why you haven't ovulated, well, like, it takes 90 days to develop a follicle. You're only just seeing cervical mucus, like you're super close, but give it time. Or if you don't see any mucus and you're wondering why, and like you don't even know that it takes 90 days to develop a follicle, like you're sitting in the dark. Like you don't have information that creates confidence and builds trust and like lets you understand what is happening under the hood. So if everything I was just saying is like total mumbo jumbo, I'm just saying words and things at you, then go and like find a YouTube video on like how the menstrual cycle works. Like that's a really great start. Learn fertility awareness, like learn how to chart your cycle, even though you don't have a cycle, because it will empower you and help you see that you need to do more if you need to do more, right? Or that you're right where you need to be. Okay, and then the last one that may be missing, like you need to be doing this, is a major change. If you are going through recovery and you haven't made any major changes, good luck, right? So if you're eating in a similar way to how you originally were when you first lost your period, it's just like, boop, I've just like bumped my food up a little bit more. If you're eating in a pretty much a similar way, it's not a major enough change. If you're exercising in a really similar way, not a major enough change. If you have a super stressful job and you've done the exercise, you've done the food thing, and but like the work stress is not leaving, you need a really major change. If you're in a relationship that is too stressful or there's not supportive of you prioritizing your health over how you look, like that needs to be a major change that needs to happen. So those could be some of the things. I'm going to recap for you because I feel like I really, really rambled today. Like, I don't know if anything I said made sense, but we're going to give it a shot. Community support, join the HA Society, a dedicated professional who is not a medical professional. You can have a medical professional, but you also need another dedicated professional who can help you navigate real life. Crucial information about the menstrual cycle. You need to understand all of the physiology behind the menstrual cycle specifically. I'm not saying you need to be a freaking OBGYN, but like understand the phases of the cycle, what's happening in the ovaries, the uterus, the whole situation. Just know, because it will empower you to make more decisions that are in favor of recovery. And then major life changes. I left the number one best one for last. If you have not made any significant changes and you've only made little bitty changes and nothing's happening, this could be missing. So we have just scratched the surface today with things that are potentially missing from people's recovery, if I'm being really honest with you. We could get really deep into the whole like food, exercise thing. If you want more of that, let me know. Like, Danny, tell me more of the very specific things. Like, let me know. I can make a video like that. But I hope that this is helpful for you to just zoom out and see, okay, are any of these pieces missing? I promise you, if you put all 4 of these pieces into application, you will succeed. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful. I will see you next week for another Q&A video. If you have a question that you want in a Q&A video, I am more than happy to answer. Go to the Instagram, the HA Society, or comment below your question, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.